Imagine this: the soft hum of morning fills your home as the first light drapes across the kitchen. You shuffle to the sink, soap in hand, the day quietly beginning. It feels like nothing special, just another ordinary routine. But what if that small, familiar act, or forgetting it, held the key to how many mornings you have left? We rarely think about how the simplest habits, the tiniest gestures, could impact our health in profound ways. Especially as we age, every corner of care counts. Beneath the skin's folds, tucked in forgotten places, lie opportunities for illness or for renewal. Doctors are now shedding light on something surprising. Certain parts of your body, when cleaned regularly, may offer unexpected protection. From avoiding dangerous infections to strengthening your immune response, these subtle acts of hygiene could shape how gracefully you age. You don't need fancy pills or expensive treatments. What you need might just be warm water, a little soap, and a few moments of attention. In today's journey, we'll uncover 4 areas of your body that often go ignored, but are crucial to your health, especially after 65. Each one comes with a story of someone just like you, someone who overlooked a detail and paid the price, and someone who took back control with a simple habit. From the hands that touch every part of life to the quiet space behind your ears, you'll see how little things can mean everything. The final body part we reveal may surprise you. It's a spot so often forgotten, yet it could change the way you feel every single day. This video isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. It's about showing love to a body that's carried you through decades of memories and milestones. So take a deep breath. Join me, and let's rediscover how small acts of care can unlock a longer, richer life. One wash at a time. First, wash your hands properly, and for the right amount of time. Robert's hands have built more than shelves and fences. They've cradled his daughters, kneaded bread on Sunday mornings, and now tended tomatoes in a backyard garden that smells of mint and earth. At 72, his hands are strong but slower, curled slightly by arthritis, lined with years of work and warmth. He's always thought of himself as clean. A quick rinse after the garden, a splash after the market. Good enough, right? But the sniffles kept coming. A nagging cough. A cold that lingered again. Something didn't add up. During a routine checkup, his doctor asked a simple question. How long do you wash your hands? 10 seconds, maybe. The doctor smiled gently. Make it 20. With soap. Every time. That moment flipped a switch. Because here's the truth: our hands are our bridge to the world. They touch doorknobs slick with use, grocery carts passed between strangers, railings, phones, pet fur, and sometimes our own faces. Each touch is an invitation. Bacteria, viruses, and invisible invaders climb aboard without a sound. For seniors, whose immune systems have lost some of their sharpness, those germs are not just nuisances, they're threats. Robert hadn't realized how often he rubbed his eyes or wiped his mouth. Each unconscious gesture was a potential opening for illness. Colds, stomach bugs, even respiratory infections that could knock him out for days or weeks. After that winter of back-to-back colds, he made a change. Now, Robert turns on the tap with purpose. He lathers his hands with soap, humming a quiet tune as he counts the seconds: 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, all the way to 20. He scrubs the backs, the wrists, the spaces between his fingers, and yes, under the nails. It's become a ritual, a rhythm, a moment of mindfulness in his day. The effect: fewer sick days. More mornings in the garden. More evenings sharing tea on the porch. A stronger sense of control over his health. And it's not just about staying germ-free. It's about dignity. About feeling strong enough to chase after your grandkids. To walk the dog without shortness of breath. To live, not just survive. For those with arthritis or mobility issues, the act of washing hands can be adapted. Foam soaps are easier to manage. Hands-free faucets are a gift. Even warm, wet wipes in a pinch can make a difference. Robert's hands now serve as his shield. not just tools of the past, but protectors of his present. In a world where illness can arrive unseen, washing your hands is your first defense. It takes 20 seconds. It gives back so much more. Second, clean the area behind the ears. Roger adjusts his glasses as he settles into his armchair, the one by the window that catches the late morning light. At 74, his days follow a gentle rhythm: crosswords with coffee, quiet walks by the river, and evenings with a book whose pages are soft from years of use. His face, lined with laughter and late-night stories, gets its daily rinse. A splash of water here, a bit of soap there. But behind his ears, that space, tucked away, barely visible, is often forgotten, until one morning, that spot refused to be ignored. A persistent itch interrupted his crossword routine. Not just a tickle, but a burn, a throb beneath the skin. When he finally checked the mirror, the truth stared back. Red, irritated skin, inflamed and angry. A quiet rebellion born from neglect. The culprit: trapped sweat, oil, and dead skin accumulating behind his ears, especially where the arms of his glasses rested. Moisture and friction, day after day, had turned a blind spot into a breeding ground. For many seniors like Roger, the skin behind the ears is fragile. As we age, skin becomes thinner, less elastic. It's more prone to irritation, breakdown, and infections. Add in accessories like glasses, hearing aids, or even hats, and the problem compounds. These everyday items press moisture into creases that rarely see the light of day, or the swipe of a washcloth. Conditions like seborrheic dermatitis, a common yet misunderstood skin disorder, often take root here. It starts as flackiness or dryness, then morphs into something far more uncomfortable. And because it's so out of sight, the issue often festers before we notice it. Roger's doctor didn't lecture. Instead, he offered a solution so simple it seemed almost silly. Next time you shower, take 10 seconds to wash behind your ears. That's it. So Roger did. A warm washcloth, a mild soap, a gentle sweep behind each ear. He patted dry, then went on with his day. The itching vanished within days. No more flaking, no more burning. Just comfort, soft, quiet, and complete. It became part of his routine, just like brushing his teeth or polishing his glasses. A tiny act that reminded him he was worth the extra care. For others who struggle with flexibility or mobility, this task can be simplified. A long-handled sponge, or even asking a caregiver for help, makes all the difference. What matters is that the skin is clean and dry, not scrubbed raw, just tended to with awareness. Roger no longer skips that hidden spot, and in doing so, he's reclaimed something even more important than clear skin: peace of mind. Behind the ears may be a small patch of real estate, but caring for it is a big act of self-respect. One more way to feel whole, strong, and cared for every single day. Third, wash your feet properly. Henry's boots rest by the door, scuffed and proud. They've walked factory floors, chased giggling grandkids through leaf-strewn parks, and carried him quietly along the sidewalks of his retirement neighborhood. At 78, Henry is a man who's lived fully. His stride slow but steady, his laughter still deep and generous. But his feet, he rarely thinks about them. Hidden inside socks and shoes, they've long gone unnoticed, until one summer afternoon changed everything. It started with a small sore on his toe. Barely a scratch, really. It'll heal, he thought. But days passed, and the toe grew red, swollen, and warm to the touch. The discomfort turned into pain. His doctor took one look and delivered the verdict: a bacterial infection, one that would require weeks of treatment. The cause: neglected foot hygiene. Feet are unsung heroes. They carry our weight through the decades, yet too often they're overlooked. For seniors, this oversight can come with consequences. Aging skin becomes thinner and less resilient. Circulation slows. The immune system weakens. In this fragile balance, even a small cut or patch of moisture can spiral into something serious. Henry's infection wasn't a fluke, it was a warning. Feet live in dark, damp spaces: shoes, slippers, thick socks. where sweat and warmth create a paradise for fungi and bacteria. The spaces between the toes are especially vulnerable, and without regular cleaning and drying, conditions like athlete's foot, fungal toenails, and slow-healing wounds can take root quickly. Toenails, too, deserve attention. As we age, they thicken, curl, and become harder to trim. Left untended, they can become ingrown or infected, causing pain with every step. Henry learned the hard way that foot care isn't vanity, it's vitality. Now, each evening after dinner, he fills a shallow basin with warm, soapy water. He lowers his feet in slowly, sighing as the warmth loosens the day's stiffness. With a long-handled sponge, he gently washes between each toe, around his heels, under the arch. He finishes by drying them thoroughly, especially the crevices. Because damp skin is an open invitation to infection, he trims his nails weekly, or asks his daughter to help. He's invested in breathable shoes, cotton socks, and a sturdy foot mirror to check for blisters or cracks. That daily ritual has become more than hygiene. It's an act of gratitude, a promise to himself to keep moving, keep walking, keep showing up for life. For those with diabetes or circulation issues, foot care is even more urgent. Small wounds can escalate rapidly. But with awareness and a bit of consistency, many problems are preventable. Henry still wears those same boots. But now, he sees his feet not just as tools, but as foundations. Strong, steady, and worthy of care. So take a moment. Look down. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly thanked your feet? Fourth, clean under your fingernails thoroughly. The late afternoon sun spills across Margaret's garden, painting the marigolds gold and casting long shadows over rows of ripening tomatoes. At 78, Margaret still finds peace in this quiet patch of earth. Her hands, though weathered and speckled with age, move with care, plucking weeds, patting soil, whispering to the roots. Every evening, she scrubs her hands at the sink. Dirt swirls down the drain. The ritual is comforting, almost meditative. But for years, one tiny detail slipped her notice: the dark, narrow crevice beneath her fingernails. At first, it was just an itch, a slight redness at the tip of her index finger. But within days, the irritation bloomed into swelling, tenderness, and a throb that wouldn't quit. When her doctor examined it, the diagnosis was clear: a bacterial infection, triggered by germs trapped beneath her nails. That's when Margaret learned a lesson too many of us overlook. Underneath your fingernails is one of the dirtiest places on the human body. We use our hands for everything: gardening, cooking, touching our faces, holding hands, petting pets. And all the while, bacteria, dirt, and microscopic pathogens hitch a ride, especially under our nails. For most people, this is a minor concern. But for seniors, whose immune systems no longer offer the same protection, these tiny invaders pose serious risks. One scratch, one nibble of food, one rub of the eye, and suddenly, bacteria find their way into the body, causing infections that can escalate quickly. Fungal infections are another threat. Under warm, damp nails, fungus can flourish. Nails may thicken, yellow, become brittle, or crumble. Conditions that require medical attention and months to resolve. Margaret realized that while her garden was a sanctuary, it was also a source of risk if she didn't care for herself as tenderly as she did her plants. Now, she keeps a soft bristled nail brush by the sink. After gardening, she lathers warm soapy water and gently scrubs beneath each nail, making it part of her daily ritual. For days when her arthritis flares, she switches to an electric nail brush or even an old toothbrush, tools that help without strain. The change has given her more than just clean hands. It's brought back peace of mind. She can sink her fingers into the soil again without fear. The infection is gone. Her fingers are strong. Her garden, once again, feels like home. For seniors especially, this overlooked detail can be life-changing. Clean under the nails, and you reduce the risk of infections, stomach bugs, even fungal issues that can limit mobility or lead to further complications. Margaret's story is a gentle reminder: sometimes it's the smallest places that carry the biggest dangers and the greatest power to protect. So the next time you reach for the soap, pause. Take those extra few seconds. Your future self might thank you, with steady hands and days spent doing what you love, without interruption. Your body is a living journal. Every wrinkle, every scar, every freckle a story of resilience, laughter, and time well spent. But as the years unfold, it begins to whisper, "Take care of me, just a little more." The truth is, we often overlook the simplest things. A quick rinse of the hands, a skipped scrub behind the ears, feet forgotten after a long walk, fingernails left with traces of soil or yesterday's chores. And yet, these small acts of care, done right, can shape how we live the years ahead. You met Margaret, whose garden was her sanctuary, until an unseen infection beneath her fingernails reminded her of the power of detail. You walked with Henry, whose sturdy boots and strong stride were nearly halted by a foot infection that began with a tiny sore. You sat beside Roger, quiet in his armchair, as irritation behind his ears taught him that even the hidden places matter. You watched Robert wash his hands, slowly, thoroughly, transforming a simple habit into a shield against sickness. These weren't dramatic changes, no expensive medicines, no complicated regimens, just water, soap, and a little more time. And yet, these stories reveal something deeper. We are never too old to change, to protect ourselves, to thrive. Taking care of your body isn't about fear. It's about dignity. It's about preserving the energy to do what you love, walking in the fall leaves, baking with your grandchildren, sitting by the window with a crossword and a cup of tea. Because when you neglect the corners, under the nails, between the toes, behind the ears, across your hands, illness creeps in. Infections, inflammation, fatigue. They steal days, even weeks, from the life you've earned. But when you notice those places, tend to them, you reclaim something powerful. You build a quiet fortress. You send a message to your body. You matter. I still need you. I'm still here. Margaret is back in her garden, fingers clean, spirit grounded. Henry walks with confidence, feet cared for, future open. Roger savors his mornings itch-free, unbothered. Robert tends his vegetables with the vigor of a man who knows that small habits add up. Now it's your turn. What spoke to you most? Was it Margaret's soil-stained lesson, Henry's warning toe, Roger's itchy wake-up call, Robert's foamy redemption? Whatever it was, let it guide you. Pick just one habit, start there, then another, because thriving in your golden years doesn't come from grand gestures. It comes from gentle promises kept. One wash, one moment, one act of care at a time. Here's to more mornings, more health, more time doing what you love, with the people who love you back.